Oh yeah, talk to us, man.
Yeah, so I have a couple of observations when it comes to Errric and thoughts on his behavior, which was completely unacceptable this episode.
Mm.
And I'll start by saying it could be one of two things, right? Either in Eric's last marriage, he felt as if he had no control whatsoever, that now he's trying to compensate or overcompensate in this relationship by making sure he controls every little single thing. He gives me vibes of, I never had my way before, so I'm going to try my best to have my way now. So that's number one. Or number two, he was like this in his first marriage and it ended because of his personality, his character, right? So I don't see him. I feel like he does this so well that this actually might be who he is. And so I'm thinking this has a lot to do with why his first marriage failed. I mean, I'm not trying to put the blame on him, but this would drive anyone away, right? It would drive me away. You're not about to talk to me like you're my father, you're my husband, my partner, not my daddy, not my grandfather, not my boss, not my super, like you're not any of those things. And so that I think it's one of those two. It could be a combination of both. I feel bad for Virginia because she's already a ball of anxiety. She's just a nervous wreck. And I think she needs someone to be careful with her and handle her in a way that's gentle and loving. And I really do feel like a lot of the things that Errric says is not necessarily wrong, but I think his delivery comes off very emotionally manipulative and controlling. And it like Virginia's, I don't want to call her naive, but she seems like she compromises a lot, or she kind of like she'll go with what you say eventually. Like she might put up a fight, but eventually she'll like kind of agree and say, okay, well, I guess I'll just do it your way. And so for me, that's concerning because you have someone like Errric who is going to control the situation, and then you have someone like Virginia who's going to compromise and continuously be the one that has to sacrifice and put her needs on the back burner and put her husband's before hers. So I don't know. This is a bad mix for me, and it's triggering for me too because I was in a relationship with a man like this who was 11 years my senior, and because he was older than me, he always used the expression that I've been there, done that, so you need to listen to me. I hear I hear Errric say that all the time, and I see Virginia, as young as she is, as inexperienced as she is, falling for that crap. Like, I haven't been as many places. I haven't been married before. So maybe he does know a little bit more about me. No, honey, if he was that good at marriage, he'd probably still be in one. So don't take his word for Bible. You're both learning, you're both getting to experience this experience together, and no one is more right than the other person. He needs to work on his delivery. It's very emotionally manipulative. Um, but I think she also does need to understand, like, you are married now, right? So there are certain things that can come off a little bit like singly. I'm still like in this single mind frame. So I do get Erric's point of view sometimes, but his delivery kind of turned me off, and it's just like, all right, right message, but wrong messenger. So that's my tidbit.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Hood Bouger, talk to us, man.
Whew. So originally, I wasn't really paying Errric any attention. We were all focused on Virginia.
Mm.
But this week, and I was just looking at a picture of Errric prior to this episode, and I'm not trying to be mean, or stereotype, but he looked like if you mess up, you're gonna be in the basement, locked up, tied, gagged. He looks scary. Look at the picture when he got the glasses on. I see y'all faces, but he looks like
I thought you looked like Harry Potter. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's what I was thinking. I thought Harry Potter.
he looking scary. And so, like, at first I thought it was because he was drinking that day when we was like, something is wrong with him, something is off. But I don't think he's drinking every day with Virginia. So something about is this. Look at his eyes. Something wrong with them eyes. Now with Errric, I don't think he's a good fit for Virginia because she has anxiety issues and she has stuff going on. So because of that, you can't talk to someone like that. So he actually has signs of a narcissist because at the beginning he was building her up. I'm going to make you feel comfortable. When he took her over to his house, I want to make her feel safe. But then now this week, you're basically tearing her apart. Everything he was saying to her. If you know that someone has abandonment issues, you don't tell them that you're going to leave. That's their worst fear. So he just kept telling her, like, well, you can go, you can leave. And she was like, go where? Where? You know, like, and he was just like, he was just doing the most. So I might need to stop watching the Identity Channel, but Erric's scaring me right now, and I see a lot of red flags. So that's just it.
I hear you. Anyone else got an opposing view? Anyone got an opposing view? Anyone think that, although he an opposing view to Errric this week, or everyone's in agreement that Errric is moving mad this week? Okay, everyone's in agreement. All right, cool. Yeah. Where the money resides? What are you saying? Talk to me, man.
Errric is moving like a Mazzalenee. Oh my God.
Hey.
Yo, seriously, like I don't even really pay attention to Errric and Virginia when I watch this thing, but like their scene, I just kept saying, like I literally just, that was just my reaction because it just kept escalating. Errric was triggering me. Errric is a manipulator. Errric is Chris 2.0. Errric is what Chris is trying to be. Errric will trigger you and then say, why are you reacting that way? We're married now. Why are you getting defensive? Errric will slap you and say, why is your face hurting? Why are you holding your face? That's the kind of person Errric is. Errric will put you in a position where you react and then he'll make you feel crazy for your reaction. Systemically, then making you like question everything that, like the whole narrative. If you ask Virginia what happened, Virginia probably wouldn't even be able to articulate it because she's just being like, the mind games are crazy. The whole thing with the dog, his dog being perfect, and then saying the dog is not perfect, then saying he doesn't care what she thinks, and then saying she should open up to him. Errric is the kind of person that if you marry him and you divorce him, everybody will blame you because they don't understand how he could be such a horrible person. She needs to run. She needs to run. This isn't a case for therapy. This isn't a case for, she needs to run. Errric is that kind of person that it will slowly go to physical abuse. And he will beat her in places where it doesn't show. And then he will say, you see what you made me do? He's toxic, like scary toxic. Who's bougie? It's not you on the ID channel. He deserves to be on the ID channel. I can't even talk. He is toxic. Errric is scary. Nah, cancel.
I hear that. FB, going.
I'm just so happy that everyone can see that Bad and Bougie and I have called this out weeks ago because the signs were there. No, like I understand that it seems like a reach. And I understand even now to some people in the chat what where the money resides and Hood Bougie said and Prayer Worry, what everyone has said so far. Some of this sounds like a reach even still. But what I'm telling you is like, if you have known a person who's in an emotionally abusive relationship, this is how it begins. When you look at Virginia, how she kind of froze in that conversation, like she looked almost like, I'm just trying to stay really still until it's over because you can't quite place your finger on it, but you know it's very wrong. How he played the victim as soon as she called him out, saying it doesn't seem protective, it comes off as controlling. Who's buying this story of she was gone for 40 minutes at the bar? Who's buying this? Like, if y'all really truly believe this, I'm serious. Like, he woke up drunk. She said he lost his phone. How would you even know how much time has passed? If you know how much time has passed, then you could have found her. If you can locate a clock on the wall in your drunken state when you don't have your phone, then you can find her at the bar. It shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's like he is literally like when she said, like, it seems like you forget all of this when you're drunk. And I was like, yup, angry drunk. Like, This man engaged in so many manipulative and toxic communication behaviors, saying I'm done constantly in the middle of the conversation and continuing to go in. Why are you waking up the morning after an argument and trying to tell her how she's not taking care of her dog right and that the dog is getting in between your relationship? How is the dog getting in between your relationship? I have many close friends that have dogs, and many of them have told me about men that they've dated trying to dominate their dogs. I don't know why this happens, but I think it's a certain type of men. I don't mean to say weak men, but it comes off as weak to me if you're jealous of the dog, or if you feel the need to come in and step in and drive a wedge between a woman and her animal. That's weak to me. But like, some men do this. They try to come in and they try to be like, no, the dog can't be here. The dog has to be here. The dog, like, they have to control that issue. He is certainly, when she said, I feel like I don't see my friends, I feel like I haven't seen my sister, I feel like I'm not doing the things I used to do. Some of that is her not being used to being in a relationship. But I also think that Errric takes advantage of the fact that she hasn't been in a relationship for a long time, that he is older and he has been married, to make her feel as though her perspective is not valid. That is not okay. It is not all right for him to constantly throw in her lack of experience or her childhood issues as the reason why she is expressing valid concerns about the way he is engaging her. We saw him when he thought the cameras were gone, snapping on her, cussing her out, blaming her for things like, you've been acting like an asshole to me and everybody in here. You bringing other people into it. She was not being mean to them. She was going to them for comfort because you're being crazy. But you're trying to make her feel like, oh, it's only you. You've been acting like this to all of us. We all feel this way. You're the problem. No, he's the problem. I don't doubt that Virginia has anxiety. I mean, considering the time period it was in and considering the time period now, in fact, anyone could have anxiety that could be triggered. But I want to know how much of that is anxiety and how much of that is your intuition telling you, get out of this situation. This man is showing you so many signs that it is not a good situation. He's been looked angry. He's been looked on the edge, tense. Now I always get hurt. That's just my life. That's just my life. I always get hurt. We're not talking about that right now. Who, like I keep seeing people in the chat and other videos keep trying to make excuses as to why this is Virginia's fault. So Virginia made him call her out of her name. Virginia's abandonment issues are the reason why he's snapping on her at nighttime, then waking up and trying to tell her about herself. And then that night still trying to continue that same line of conversation. The unrelenting criticism of an issue that she has said is sensitive to her, issue that she has said, hey, can you examine your own self first before you keep going in on me? The unrelenting criticism. We've now been talking about Rocky for like 15 hours. You want to bring it up one more time? Who isn't going to snap on that? Who isn't going to get up and be out on that? Like, I'm trying to understand how this is Virginia's fault. Yes, she has a drinking problem. Yes, she has daddy issues and abandonment issues. That's not what's making Errric act this way. When do we stop making excuses for this? No, there's something wrong with Errric, and he needs to examine that. For all he knows so much about marriage because he was married one time, ask your ex-wife why she thinks it didn't work out. I bet you she's going to list a lot of these same things that we're seeing right now on the screen.
Can I jump in there, Coach? I'm sorry, Christian Bad Boy. All right. So sorry. Oh my Lord. So Errric, I was thinking this is going to be a light, easy episode. You know, I won't be triggered. I can just sit here and enjoy and eat my food and, you know, relax. And then Errric came on the scene and my pressure went all up and I had to put my popcorn and stuff down and my drink down. I was like, what am I hearing? What is this? I'm hearing an emotional abuser. He never raised his voice. He hasn't hit her yet. But that man is abusive. So what struck me the most was the scene where the camera crew wasn't there, but he and Virginia are in the kitchen and they're having an argument, which, by the way, she said they had already gotten to a fight at the bar. So when she went missing for however many minutes, because he said 40 minutes, then he said 30 minutes. I'm like, I don't believe this. She said, well, we got into a big fight. And then we come home and the fight continues. And he said, and I wrote it down, he said, you're actually lucky I just responded the way I did just right now. I was like, are we threatening? Wow. Okay. And I don't care if you were drunk, popped an edible or whatever. You're very abusive, sir. And if Virginia, who it amazes me, yes, she has a drinking issue, but that woman is like, her awareness is like very keen, self-awareness and awareness relationally. I was just like, Virginia, you're on it. You're not quite there yet, but I mean, you're very aware. Like when he starts, saying certain things to you, she calls him out, and please don't say, tell me I could leave. I was just like, right, you're getting that he keeps feeding you this. And I'm like, so now the next part is you just bounce. And I think this is why she doesn't want to live with him, because she's very much aware she'd be down in that basement with no cats and no dog, because this man is evil. How do you take the dog that's actually a puppy, right? I don't know much about dogs now, but I know when they're 1 year old, they're still a puppy, correct? Huh? All right. How do you take a puppy and have a laundry list of everything that's wrong with the puppy and then recommend that that puppy spend more time with not a dog trainer, but with you? I said, oh, okay. So Errric is the end all be all. He is the omniscient one. He's omnipotent, omniscient. He is the almighty. I said, this man is crazy, crazy. So then as he's in the scene where it's all the husbands together and they're supposed to be talking about their dogs, right? I get it, but I'm no fool. He's talking about the dog, but he's really talking about Virginia. How the dog is wild and crazy and needs to be tamed. And, my dog, Tex, is like, mild behavior, acts well. And I was just like, wow, the comparisons are so drastically different, Errric. You're on one side of the spectrum. Virginia's on the clear other side of the spectrum. And everything is wrong with her dog or with her. Because I'm no fool. You ain't talking about, what's her dog name? Rocky, Rocco, whatever. He ain't talking about that dog. He's talking about his wife, which I also took issue with. And how dare you get down here with all these other husbands that talk about your wife like that? Mr. Oh, we're great. We're fine. Everything's awesome. I love her. This and that, blah, blah. Oh, and now you want to go in on her dog like that? And I appreciate Vincent for being like, hello, it's called compromise. It's not that deep. It's a dog. Really? I just said, wow, this is the origin story. If Virginia stays with him, this is the origin story of her demise. This is how abuse, like aggressive, like real serious. This is how it starts. This is just the breeding ground. She's being initiated at this point. Up to decision day. If she happens to say yes, good. We're gonna have to come back on here and pray for her, because she's gonna need it at that point. Because that man is absolutely nuts. Last point. When he was explaining to, and this is something about emotional abusers that just drives me nuts. When he talks with Virginia, it's very critiquey, everything she's doing wrong. But did you notice how one time she did something, I guess, that he thought was right? And he tried to like affirm her. He was like, I see the change that you make. Good job. Atta girl. I appreciate that you're making those changes. I was just like, who is this man? He coming on Married at First Sight. Maybe he meant to go on Parent at First Sight, because he wants a child. He wants somebody that he can control and dominate. A grown adult woman ain't it. But anyway, last point. When he was with the husbands, to me, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, he was trying to make himself sound like the victim. Like her dog has just caused him so much anguish. This dog is just out of control, you guys. Like, you just don't understand. I mean, the way he was looking down, his demeanor, he was so downcast. And I was like, sir, it's a dog. Really? You're not a victim. And don't nobody feel sorry for you. So we pray to God that maybe Paige can loan Virginia one of her therapists, since she got so many, and that baby can get some real help, because she's in danger, y'all. Virginia, you in danger, girl.